Hi, it's Dan, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to make cranberry nut bread using the Sauna Smart Bread Maker. Now, cranberry nut bread, it's not a yeast bread, not a true bread like you'd think. It's almost something between a bread and a cake. And it's something that's really great around the holidays. The cranberries give it a real nice color, the contrast between the cranberries and the white bread. And it's also good year-round. We prefer it in the cold weather. My wife and kids love to have it in the morning, something fresh when they wake up. So I want to show you what's going to be in this recipe, all the ingredients here. I've got 2 cups of flour, 3/4 cup of white sugar. I've got here some baking powder, that's 1.5 teaspoons. I've got 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Here's the star of the show, the fresh cranberries. Now, we're filming this in Europe. Cranberries here, it's a little harder to find fresh ones like this. Typically you find sweetened, dried cranberries, but I found these in a shop nearby, so they are possible. They're a lot tartar. They're kind of got a astringent, tart, not bitter, but just somewhere between sweet and sour taste, but it really adds to the whole flavor and the characteristics of the bread. I've also got some walnuts. I've got here about 3/4 cup. This is 2 cups of cranberries. Most recipes call for about 1 cup. I like more cranberries in there. Some people say to chop them. I really just prefer the whole cranberries. It really gives you a lot of the flavor. I've got some butter here. It's not in the recipe. I'm going to use that to prepare the pan, just to butter the pan. So those are all the dry ingredients. You also need some moist ingredients, of course, to hold it all together. What I'm going to put in is some vegetable oil and a couple of tablespoons. You can use rapeseed oil, you can use sunflower oil. You also need an egg. I happen to have one right here. So 1 egg, you'll add that to it. And last but not least, you need some orange juice and some orange peel as well. The orange juice is a great balance. That citrus tart balances the astringency of the cranberries really well. It's just a great combination, cranberries and oranges. And I could cut this and try to squeeze it, but I'd much rather juice it. And I'm in a good place, fortunately, so I'm going to choose one of these. I don't want to plug anything in. How about one of these guys? Nice manual press. This one's the Sauna Citrus Press. So I'm going to set this all up, get a little bowl to squeeze the juice into, and then start putting this stuff together. So I need about 1 tablespoon of zest off the skin here. Just going to run some of this through. This orange skin, this orange zest really gives it sort of a zing, to the bread. But a little goes a long ways, and I'd say that's probably about enough there. Also need to get some juice out of this guy. Got this Sauna Citrus Press ready to go. Yeah, that's a lot better than squeezing it by hand. And it doesn't have to be exactly 3/4 cup. It's just juice of an orange. Perfect. I'm going to rinse my hands off. Now all I need to do is mix everything together. I'm going to mix the dry ingredients together first, then the wet ingredients in a separate bowl, combine them, and it'll be ready to go. So I've got a bigger bowl for that. So I'm putting my flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder. I don't know if I mentioned before, put a little salt in there as well. Less than 1 teaspoon, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And use a whisk to get it mixed together pretty nicely. Now on top of that, you want to put these cranberries and nuts in now to get them coated really well. Use a spoon for that. I didn't put all the cranberries in. Like I said, most recipes call for a cup. This is 2 cups. Sometimes I have to add a little more flour because I don't want to overdo it. You don't want more cranberries than bread, but I, and especially my kids, like having more cranberries than less. Okay, they're all coated pretty well. Now I'm just going to combine my wet ingredients. The orange juice. I guess that's about right. The egg. And as I mentioned before, a couple of tablespoons of oil. Most breads, even quick breads like this, need some fat in there. You could use melted butter as well. I just think oil's a little faster. You don't really need to whip it up. No need to pull out an electric beater for this. All right, let's combine these guys. It's going to be a real thick dough. It's not going to be real liquidy like a cake batter, but thick, almost like a bread dough that you could mold or shape. Want to make sure to get all of the liquid ingredients mixed through there because you don't want to be eating this and get a dry pocket of flour. No one likes that. Okay, I think that's mixed well enough. Don't use an electric mixer on this. You don't want to break the cranberries up because then that juice starts going everywhere. Like I said, some people split the cranberries. They will cut them in half. I'd rather have that full burst of flavor. Next thing I want to do is prepare the pan. Take it out here of the Smart Bread Maker. I don't use the kneaders inside the beaters. I have used it with some recipes, with cornbread, with pumpkin bread, to save the step of mixing it. I just throw everything in here, but I kind of prefer to do it this way, just to make sure I get it mixed the best. Those kneaders are best for kneading bread, for mixing the bread together. Now before I put it in, I want to coat it with butter, just so the bread will come out more easily. What I like to do is fold over a paper towel, get a pat of butter like that, or margarine, either way. And I'll just spread it around inside. Make sure to get the rods here where the kneaders go on. Want to coat it about halfway up because this will rise. Be real generous with the butter. You'll be thankful later. That's just a nice clean way to butter it. Now it's ready to go. So it's ready to go in, and no, it's not. I completely forgot the zest. So I'm just going to spread this around in there a little bit. Okay. Little zest goes a long ways. I'm just going to use a spoon to stir it on in. I want to get the zest spread through because it's pretty potent stuff. It could be a nasty surprise if you get a whole chunk in your slice of bread. Just want to spread it across the top here. Normally, I would have mixed that, of course, with the wet ingredients, with the eggs, the oil, the orange juice. Okay. Problem solved. Time to start cooking. This just snaps in. The reason I'm using this, I've adapted this from an oven recipe. You could make this in the oven. I've done it before. At home, I always use my bread maker for a couple of reasons. First of all, it controls the temperature a lot better. You have a very small area being controlled. Secondly, like I said, I can start it before I go to bed, program it to start later or to kick on later. And finally, this is probably the biggest reason. I love these glass lids because this kind of bread and breads like cornbread, you really want them moist. And this keeps it moist because the steam comes out of it as it cooks and it will just condense back in. If you are taking an oven recipe into the Sana Smart Bread Maker and you're using glass lids, make sure you turn down the temperature a bit. I've done that here, and also reduce the time a bit because these are going to make it cook a little longer. So they're ready to go. And I'm going to program the machine then and start it up. As you see printed on the top here are the different programs, the 7 programs. I'm going to choose number 4. That's the bake program. So I'll select the recipe book to number 4. Hit the function select here, these arrows, and it shows off. That's the time. I'm going to use the plus button to get to the time I want, in this case 45 minutes. 50 minutes is the official recipe in an oven. I tend to reduce things a little bit because of those glass lids. I'll hit the function button again. That takes me to temperature. Defaults to 180 degrees centigrade. I want it 170. I'll hit the minus once, 170, press the function button. That locks it in. That program is now in. This is going to run for 45 minutes at 170. Press the button here, the on-off button. That has locked in the program. Now to start it, I just hold it down. Bake indicator is on. It's ready to go. In 45 minutes, I'll come back to check it. Bread's been done for a while. I've let it cool, and I'm really curious to see how it turned out. One thing I did while it was cooking, something you can do with these sweetbreads, is I spread a little cinnamon sugar over the top, just to give it kind of a crunchy little top there. So let's see how it comes out. Yeah, looks like it's well cooked. See how it looks on the inside. Yeah, looks good. And that's Cranberry Nut Bread. I want to thank you for watching. If you'd like more information about the Sana Smart Bread Maker, you can go to our website, smartbreadmaker.com. Or if you want to see more Sana products, go to sanaproducts.eu. Thanks for watching. See you next time.